Okay, so you're thinking about buying a home. And if you are, you're probably drowning in all this jargon, right? It can feel super overwhelming. Today, we're going to zero in on one of the most powerful things you can do, a step that seriously transforms you from just a window shopper into a real legit buyer. We're talking about getting pre-approved. Let's break down what that really means.
Just take a second and imagine that feeling. You walk into the open house for your dream home, and you're not just another person off the street. Nope. You are a serious, credible buyer, and everyone there, the seller, their agent, they all know it. That is the kind of power we're talking about today. In a really hot real estate market like the one we've got here between Boston and the Cape, just being interested, it's not enough. You're not just competing against other offers, you're competing against how prepared other buyers are. And in this market, you have got to stand out. And look, that's totally understandable. Probably the biggest point of confusion for so many people is the difference between two terms that sound almost exactly the same: pre-qualification and pre-approval. But here's the thing, they are not the same at all. And knowing the difference, that's your first major advantage. All right, so let's start with the first one you'll probably run into: pre-qualification. This is kind of that initial step, a way to dip your toes in the water and just get a feel for things. Think of it like a casual chat. You call up a lender, you tell them roughly what you make, what you owe. It's all based on memory. And they give you a ballpark figure. It's a handy starting point for you, for your own budget. But, and this is a big but, it is not a promise for a loan. And yeah, here's the catch. Because none of that is verified, no pay stubs, no bank statements, nothing, a pre-qualification letter just doesn't carry much weight. To a seller who's looking at a stack of offers, it's basically a maybe. And in a competitive market, a maybe is often just a polite no. So how do you get past that maybe? Well, this is where you go from being a window shopper to a real player in the game. Pre-approval. This is all about proving you are financially ready to go. The absolute key word here is verified. This isn't just a conversation. It's a full-on formal application. The lender is going to scrutinize everything: your pay stubs, your bank statements, your credit report. And the result? It's a letter that says, yes, we are ready and willing to lend this person this exact amount of money. That is a document sellers can actually trust.
Let's just put them right next to each other. I mean, the difference is night and day, right? Pre-qualification, that's unverified info, just a quick glance. But pre-approval, we're talking an in-depth analysis of your actual financial paperwork. And the result of that? You go from having a weak offer that gives sellers low confidence to a strong offer that gives them the peace of mind they're looking for. It's really the difference between being a backup plan and being the top choice. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Let's look at a real-world example of how this actually plays out. This story from East Bridgewater, Massachusetts, shows you exactly why this stuff matters so much. So picture this: a buyer found the perfect place. It was this classic, cozy Cape home, exactly what they'd been searching for. You know the kind of house, the one you know is not going to be on the market for long? And sure enough, they weren't the only ones who thought so. Over that very first weekend, a bunch of other potential buyers fell in love with it too. And just like that, the competition was on. So as the offers started to roll in, a little pattern started to show up. The other buyers, they'd done the bare minimum. They put in offers backed only by those weak, unverified pre-qualification letters. A couple of them didn't even have that. But our buyer, the one who really loved that cozy Cape, they came to the table with something totally different, something way, way more powerful. That's right. They had a full, verified pre-approval from their lender. It was more than a piece of paper. It was a statement. It said, we're ready, we're serious, and our financing is locked in. And guess what happened? They won. They got the house. And it wasn't even because they offered the most money. It was because they offered the most certainty. For a seller, an offer that's a sure thing is almost always better than a slightly higher offer that might just fall apart. Their preparation won them the home. Simple as that. So let's bring this all back to you. That story from East Bridgewater isn't just a nice little story. It's a blueprint for how you can succeed. Getting pre-approved gives you real, tangible advantages that make your entire home buying journey so much better. So what does this all mean for you? Well, it really boils down to 4 huge benefits. First, you get confidence. You can shop for homes knowing exactly what you can actually afford. Second, you get clarity. No more nasty financial surprises or last-minute stress. Third, you have leverage. Your offer is instantly more attractive, which gives you real negotiating power. And finally, it just makes for a smoother journey to closing, because everyone involved knows you're a serious, dependable buyer who's ready to go.
So, I'll just leave you with this one question. That perfect home for you, it's going to hit the market eventually. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when it does, the real question is, will you have done the work to make sure your offer is the one that rises to the top? Will you be ready?